Hello, good morning. Happy Wednesday from a very sunny Pudsey. I'm absolutely loving the sunshine today. It's actually made me want to get up and enjoy my day. I have to admit, I've had a little bit of a lie-in. My husband is a teacher and part of the union that is striking today. So he is home. But he has done the school run for me today, so I have had a little bit of a breather. I think the daily grind of having to get the kids out and get them dressed and get them to school, and especially when you're trying to make a 3-year-old do a walk he doesn't want to do, it can all be very tiring. So having one day off has been a bit of a relief. So I must admit that is the plus side of the strikes for me today. But if you are feeling affected by them, then I hope you're okay, and I hope you manage to take some time to spend with your kids today if they're at home, because it can feel so stressful, but sometimes it's nice to flip the mindset on it and think, actually, it's going to give me some extra time for the kids. But I won't go into the political discussion around the strikes. I am here for Magic March, 31 days of lives. I am sharing daily content cues for you, ideas for things that you can post on your social media. And I've got a good one today, which does tap into things like the strikes. So I hope that you are able to join me. I'm aiming to go live every morning around 10 o'clock, slightly earlier this week today, because I am joining the Parenting in Business Connections networking session, which I've been wanting to do since last year. So I'm really looking forward to that with Sarah Davies and lots of other wonderful women. So if you're joining that, give me a wave. And if you are a mum in business and you want to come and meet some fellow mums in business who are incredibly supportive, then I would definitely recommend that wonderful Facebook group. So that is why I am going live slightly earlier than usual. As I mentioned, I would usually be on the school run at this point, but I decided to get straight to work. So perhaps that'll mean that I can finish work at a decent hour tonight as well. That would be lovely. One of the things that I have got on my to-do list today myself is to create some content. And I've been absolutely inspired by the news headlines this morning for some additional content that I want to get out there. And it fits perfectly with the content cue that I planned to share today, and that is timely posts. So tapping into news stories that are happening to show your expertise or even just share your passion. So you may have seen this morning that the news is reporting that one of the main things that the budget is going to, so it's the spring budget today. And one of the things in the news headlines is that they are expecting the government to announce additional funding for childcare in the form of 30 hours free childcare for children between 1 and 3. Now, for me, this is a huge, huge thing. It's actually come a little bit too late because James is now 3.5, but I really struggled and I could never get my head around the fact that I had to wait until he was 3 before I got support with the childcare. It just baffled me. Essentially, I ran the risk of not being able to work for 3 years. And I think if every mum and dad is impacted in that way, so many of us lose our careers and having to justify sending them to nursery because of the cost, when really we have a right to be back in our own careers and things like that. So this is a topic that I'm really, really passionate about. So the fact that it has come up in the headlines today is huge for me and something that I definitely want to talk about in my social media. So I'm thinking about newspaper articles that I can submit. I'm thinking about an article I'm going to do on LinkedIn. I'm thinking about a social media post that I'll be sending out later today. I'm thinking about an extra social media post that I've got to do because I like my Instagram grid to look pretty. So I need to do a graphic before I can do a photo. Morning, Kimmy. Lovely to see you. Let me know what you think about what the government have been potentially announcing during the spring budget today about giving more funding for childcare for children under 3. So yes, the point being, this news story is huge. It is being talked about all over social media. I have already spoken to a journalist this morning about it, sharing my views. It is something that is relevant to my business because my sole client, my online army, you are, for the vast majority of it, you are mums in business. So this is something that will massively impact you. So it is definitely something that feels relevant for my audience. And of course, my goal is to make sure that you are able to make social media fit around your children and your business. So having childcare is something that would help with that as well. So it all feels like it connects. And of course, it's something that I'm really topical, I'm really passionate about. So the tip today is to keep an eye out on the news every morning. If you don't want to do it that much, that's fine. I am actually signed up to an app called Upday, UPDAY, which sends through news highlights every day. So rather than having to get dragged into the debate and the arguments on social media, I'm able to just flick through those highlights. I'm actually really enjoying Twitter at the moment, so that's where I saw these headlines around childcare. But if you, like me, prefer to avoid the negativity, Update's a really good sort of like, it is a summary of the main news stories. It isn't, the Daily Mail, the Daily Express, the Daily Mirror all going at it and trying to cause controversy. It is the headlines, and it picks out news stories from across the UK. So that would be my tip for the day. Keep an eye out. Another thing that I like to do is I set news alerts. So Google, you can type in Google News Alerts, and you can type in topics that are particularly relevant for you. So I have women's in business, Instagram updates, Facebook updates. So I'm constantly on top of what's going on social media. So that is another way of making sure you don't have to feel depressed by the news, because you're picking the stuff that is relevant for you. So this is a really great way of getting some really good engagement on your posts, because you are picking topics that are timely. You know that this is something that's going to be talked about on social media. And if you're tapping into a trending topic, your post is more likely to be seen. So Fran, taking you as an example, anything out there that talks about writing, authors, news stories around authors, you know that I have my inner debates, inner struggles over J.K. Rowling being such a huge influence on my life and basically being a bit of a dick lately. So stuff like that is certainly things that you might be able to tap into. But you don't have to listen to all the news. You don't have to watch. You don't have to read what the Daily Mail is throwing out there into the world. You can just keep an eye out on the highlights. So yeah, that's my tip for today, is set up some news alerts, download the Upday website, download the Upday app to get some news highlights, and just keep an eye out for stuff that really resonates with you or feels like it might connect with your business, because it's a great way to put yourself out there in the world as an expert. I have tweeted this morning, Sky News had a headline about the government expected to announce the extra funding for childcare. I tweeted that this would be welcome news for parents, but is it enough? Do the government need to be doing more? And I've spoken to a journalist before 9 o'clock this morning, sharing my views, giving them a very cute picture of me and James. And I'm hoping that will get picked up and get used, and that will help me raise my profile. So yeah, this is there are so many benefits from tapping into timely stories. So I want you to try and lose that feeling of, oh, I hate reading the news, because there are ways around that. And it's more about finding the conversations that are happening online, particularly with your online army, so you can get those going yourself in your group, on your page, and you can have your post seen by more people to welcome into your audience. So try not to let the thought of how depressing the news can be put you off, because it doesn't have to be that way. We can make the most of it. This is coming from a very passionate ex-journalist. I loved journalism. It's still right at the heart of everything that I do now, telling good, positive stories. Let's get some positive stories out there by getting you guys pushed out there as the experts. That was today's Magic March, 31 days of lives, 31 content cues. I will be back tomorrow. I'm aiming for the normal time of 10 o'clock. I will probably be joined by James, so that's one that you might like to that might be a reason to avoid it. It might be a reason to come in and say hello to James. But thank you to those of you who joined me live, and if anybody has any questions who's watching on a replay, please do let me know. I'll speak to you all very soon.